This is the BYD eMAX 7, the successor to the E6, and if you're thinking, well, this is just a minor facelift, no, you'd be wrong because there's a lot that has changed. Some refresh to the design, features on the inside, and an all-important third row as well. And that's not all, there are power changes, you have 2 models on offer, you have 2 battery packs on offer, so there's a lot to talk about. Starting with the design up front, you have an updated face, which means it no longer looks like a typical EV. With these cuts and vents, almost looks like an ICE car. However, the grille and the bumper have been heavily reworked, but the main point is, of course, the LED headlamps with LED DRLs, lots of detailing in them, and they definitely look nice and modern. Over to the side, you have 17-inch wheels just as before, but they get a new look. Ventilated discs up front, disc brakes at the rear. Now the wheelbase hasn't changed, 2800 mm just as before, slightly shorter than the Innova High Cross. The length hasn't changed either, almost 5 meters, 4,700 odd meters. Ground clearance still stands at a 170 mm. And at the rear, you have all new LED tail lamps, a lot of intricate detailing in them as well, and they also have a connecting LED light bar. Now, since we are here, the eMAX 7 also gets an electric tailgate, which means at the touch of a button, the boot space is exposed. Now with the 3 rows up, you have 180 liters of boot, but these 2 seats can of course be folded down, and that can elevate the boot space up to 580 liters. All right, now into the eMAX 7, and the big change is of course the upholstery. It feels like a different car compared to the E6, which was basically all black interior, all black upholstery. Now things have changed. The seats now get this nice brown interior, and blended with the black, it definitely looks the part. Of course, some hard plastics like the upper half of the dash remain, but they have used soft materials, soft padded plastics on the doors and obviously on the armrests as well. Other change, of course, is the touchscreen. It's a 12.8-inch unit, new touchscreen, 1080p, looks really nice, sharp, and very, very smooth. And obviously, like before, you can change the orientation to portrait from landscape. How useful that is, I'm not really sure, but it definitely adds to a bit of conversation. Below that, you have a new gear selector, which is nice and slick. Again, looks nice and modern. The older car had a bit of a knob which looked dated. You have your basic controls, your defoggers, your ventilated seat options right here. Drive modes are here as well, and you also have a wireless charging pad. But most of the E7 Max is going to be out on the road. People are going to be driving it quite often, so seat comfort is very, very important, and in that logic, it is nice, very broad, nice and supportive. Cushioning is right. You have power adjust, 6-way power adjust for the driver, 4-way for the passenger, and you also have ventilated options like I mentioned. So really nice place to be. Now the steering is also all new. You have some more features, as you can see, which means this car gets an ADAS. Now ADAS is available only on the top spec trim, not on the premium. It's only on the superior. However, it is definitely something that will be of use because these cars tend to do long distances, lot of highway driving. Inside, you have an instrument cluster updated, still analog, so not the most fancy clusters out there, but you do get your vital information all in a TFT display as well. However, with an MPV, a lot of it has to do with the middle row and the third row, since this has one. So let's quickly check that out. Onto the back seat of the eMAX 7, the biggest change, of course, is the seating layout. You can have this as a 6-seater and a 7-seater. So these 2 seats can be captain chairs as they are right now, or you can have them as a bench for 3 adults. However, space is not really an issue. Despite the third row, there's not a big compromise on legroom. Knee room is nice and decent. You have a nice flat floor, so nothing really that comes in the way of your foot. In terms of amenities, you have a Type-C port, a USB-A port, blower controls, and that was the big qualm about the E6, that there was only one AC vent in the center. Now you have AC vents in the roof pillars, and that means better cooling and better efficiency. And of course, the panoramic sunroof, the glass roof with a nice thick sunshade, so it's not going to be a problem in the sun. But when you're at night, when you have a nice cloud above, you can open up and enjoy the views. Now into the third row of the eMAX 7, this is arguably its highlight. It was never really meant to be a 7-seater, but they've done it now, and space honestly is not too bad. With a little bit of compromise for the middle row, you can spend some time in here. Not long hours, not long journeys, especially adults. For kids, it is absolutely fine. And seat positioning, not too bad. You have nice headrests as well. You have 2 cup holders in the back. You have dedicated vents in the roof for AC, and that is quite nice. You have a good glass area as well, so a lot of light coming in. Doesn't really feel stuffy. Yes, you are seated knees up, and the seat squab isn't the best. Apart from that, for shorter adults on short drives or for kids, this is more than adequate. Prices for the eMAX 7 start at 26.9 lakh rupees for the premium version and 29.9 lakh rupees for the superior, which is the top spec. Now, of course, there has been a lot that has changed on the eMAX 7 compared to the E6. We'd love to know your thoughts. Do you think the design is nice? Do you think the features are good enough? Do let us know down in the comments. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to Autocar India channel and hit that bell icon as well.